G'day guys, I've just been on a massive road trip all the way down to a really cool place called Lewis Engines, and today we're starting our budget RB30 build. Let's do it. So I've just arrived at Lewis Engines, and the owner here, Darren, he's down the end, he's busy, we won't hassle him just yet. We got the shop dog here, Jack. He's going to be helping out heaps. Alright, so Darren's been nice enough to pretty much let me do whatever the hell I want to my engine here, haven't you?
Pretty well.
So, yeah, I spoke to Darren about a few of the RB25 heads that you guys know I've destroyed. And I told him how I was pretty keen to build an RB30, and he pretty much invited me down and basically said, look, I'll help you build it. So this is a massive thank you to Darren for allowing me to build it and document it. So in the end of it, you know, you guys are going to benefit from it. Like, you guys will benefit from it all as well. And today we're going to get busy on stripping the block that I got. Now I can't remember if I showed you guys this block, but this is the one I picked up for 100 bucks. It was out of an R31. And yeah, we're just going to strip it down, chuck it in the hot bath, and get ready to build a budget RB30. So straight away I'll get busy into stripping this down, and once that's done I'll give you guys a bit of a shop tour and explain exactly what Darren does here, because it's freaking amazing. Alright, let's get busy. So, oil pumps off. There's just a heap of 10mm bolts there. I'm going to take the back cover off, and that holds the rear main seal. So that's just a heap of 10mm as well. I'll get that one off. I've got the dipstick funnel out. That's always a bit of a mission. But got that out, and then, yeah, then it'll be time to get the pistons out. Okay, so the rear main seal cover is just held on with a heap of 10mm around the outside. So I'll pop that off. You just put a little screwdriver in on the girdle and lever it off slowly, but it's on dowels, so yeah, you got to make sure you take it off evenly. Okay. Now I'm just going to take like every little piece out of the block on both sides, and then yeah, we'll obviously start taking undoing the conrods here and pushing the pistons up and out the engine. So before we take these pistons out, we're just going to stamp them. So even if we wash them or whatever, or someone accidentally rubs off the marking, you can't now, because we'll stamp it in there. Now it's as simple as that. Darren's already done that one. We'll quickly do them. Alright, so I've called Darren over to get the first piston out. Obviously just removing those rod bolts. It's got this really strange looking hammer.
Hammer? Look at it. It's been used for knocking pistons out.
So
you just got to make sure that if you use a bit of wood,
yep,
and sort of knock it down on the bolt. A lot of people get a socket handle and stuff and hit on this part here, so which is pretty ugly. You can't hit that surface there with
anything really.
Nothing, yeah.
No.
So a bit of wood for that's good.
Cool.
And then when that cap comes off,
just put it straight back on.
Back on the rod, yeah. So
yep,
the two bearing tangs go together.
Oh, okay. Yep. No worries.
Yeah, just a habit of putting them on the right way. It's
easy.
Old habit, yeah.
No worries. I'll continue with the rest. So while I've interrupted Darren here, I'm just going to get a quick explanation on how the oil rings work, because to be honest, I have no idea. and it's probably common knowledge, but just so you guys understand it as well, all I knew about was the top and the bottom ring. Like I had,
Top and second, yeah.
Yeah, the top and the second. I actually have no idea what this one here does. So
the third one's an oil ring. So what happens is when the piston goes down the bore, all the oil underneath gets pushed out of the oil ring.
Yep.
Through holes in the groove behind the ring, and then the oil ring scrapes the oil off the bore as it goes down.
Yeah, right.
Because you don't want the oil in the cylinder. And the top one's sealed from the pressure as the thing fires. The pressure goes in between the piston around the back of the ring and forces the ring out against the bore. And that's what seals the gases from going into the crankcase.
Ah.
So
that one's obviously the top one?
That's the top one, yeah. That's just a barrel-faced ring. So they're normally a curved barrel face.
Yep.
Just to seal compression. Then the second ring is a compression ring and a scraper. So what happens with the second ring is that it's normally got a chamfer on the inside, which makes the ring tip downwards. So as the ring tips downwards, it puts a sharp edge on the bottom corner, which scrapes the oil down the bore as the piston goes down the bore.
Yeah, right.
And you'll see inside these.
Oh, so that was like a top?
On these, yeah, what they are, they're a three-piece oil ring, so that
I was going to say...
Two thin ones are just a rail, which
basically
does
hold
the scraping.
That in. Is that...
Holds this spacer in, yeah.
Yeah.
So that spacer and those two thin rails are the oil ring package.
Jeez, I had no idea
and then
about
there's holes in there, in the groove, where the oil comes from underneath out, and then the oil ring scrapes it down the bore as it goes down. Some pistons have got slots in the oil ring which they can crack through there. These Nissan factory ones have got holes, which is pretty fancy for back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, eh? Thanks for that, mate. That's right. That's pretty cool. I had no idea about that, so won't hold you up any longer, mate.
No problem.
Alright, let's get back to getting these pistons out. Okay, so all the pistons are out now. The crank actually looks really good. Gotta be honest, all the bearings are pretty damn sweet. And yeah, now we'll take the girdle out. And obviously the main bearings will be in there. Alright. There are all the pistons. We're actually going to be reusing these obviously, because it is a budget build. We'll obviously put new rings on. We are talking about going ARP rod bolts, just because I kind of want to show you guys how that whole process happens. It's actually pretty interesting. I know that's obviously not going to be a real budget build, but just being able to show you guys what the process is involved in obviously changing the rod bolts to a stronger one. Darren's pretty keen to show you guys that too, which is cool. And yeah, we're just going to maximise the most out of having Darren's knowledge, because yeah, there's not too many engine shops that'll let you do this. Alright, let's get the girdle out. Easy as that. Boom. And there's the crank, eh? How's it look?
Pretty good. Thrusts aren't worn, which is bloody really good. Like even these journals look real nice.
So the thrust that's just the...
Yeah, that controls the end play. So when you put your foot on the clutch, it pushes it forward.
Ah.
So normally what happens, people don't adjust the clutch with enough free play.
Yep.
So it's always loading, so it'll chew that rear thrust out.
Ah.
So these are just like a half bearing.
Yep.
This one here's got sides on it to control the end float.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You'll see it. Take that out, you'll see the bearing.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's like a normal half bearing.
Yep.
Then that one's got sides on it.
Ah.
So it's got a thrust face front and rear to control that.
And obviously you do want a little bit of thrust movement. You don't obviously want it.
You want to, when you're building it, you want about 4 to 5 thou. Is about normal. Sometimes real heavy clutches, you want to get a bit more oil in there, so you want to maybe go up to about 8, 10 thou end float, but any more than that is never really see it.
Yep.
I'll get these out like this. This is an easy way to flip them out. Make sure the bearings on this side, if you use a metal thing like this, just lift it up.
Easy as that.
Yeah, so it's got the sides on it.
Ah, yeah, right. There's another tip for you all. Thanks, mate.
No problem.
So we're binning all these, obviously.
Yeah, we'll chuck this. There's another thing you can do. You can read the. You've got Nissan and standard written on there, or some other numbers. Yeah,
oh, so you know.
STD on there.
Yep.
So you know that's you know that's a factory bearing. So you know the crank's on standard size.
I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera, but
when the crank,
it's upside down.
Yeah, when the crank's ground.
Yep.
To a smaller size. Like if the journals are damaged, you have to grind it down to a smaller size. Then you use a thicker bearing. So you might hear people say a 10 thou oversize or a 20 thou oversize bearing.
Yep.
So this shell's thicker to bring up the distance from when the crank's ground smaller.
Ah,
when you have to repair it. So, and all the aftermarket bearings have got 010 or 0.5 mil on the back, so you know what size they are.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
So what size are we going to go then? Just the same?
Yeah, we'll go standard again because that crank is real nice on the journals. We'll clean it up and measure it, but just eyeballing that, that's a goal to use again. Like, there's no problems with that.
Cool.
So we'll just micro polish the journals and check the clearances when it goes back in.
Yep.
It'll be fine to use those journals without grinding it. Yeah.
And we'll go all over, you know, how that's all done as well. So what's the next step for this then?
Now we're going to take it off the stand.
Yep.
And we can put it in the hot wash and just clean it up.
Cool.
Get it ready for the measure the bores and hone the bores. Hopefully we can use these bores again. Just re-hone the
That'll make it
cylinders.
very
Hopefully
easy.
they're not too bad around, whatever.
Cool. And obviously there's a special tool to measure the bores.
Yeah, it's an inside micrometer.
Yep.
So it makes it a real budget build because you're using the same pistons again. So we'll measure the pistons, make sure they're not collapsed.
Yep.
Measure the bore, make sure it hasn't got like 4 or 5 thou clearance or something stupid like that. You know, if it's around 2.5, 3 thou piston and bore clearance, and the bores aren't out around by any more than say 1 thou or so, it's okay to hone these and then use those pistons again with a new set of rings, and it makes a nice cheap build that way.
Cool.
I mean, we clean them up and have a look, make sure there's no cracks and stuff like that. We can test them, but usually an engine like that looks in that good a condition, you can pretty well say they're reusable if you wanted to save money on pistons. You know.
Well, that's bloody good news to me. And good news to you guys too. So we're obviously making this complete budget build and just showing you guys how much is involved in still doing the whole budget build of this. But we have decided, like I said before, to go ARP rod bolts, and Darren's actually resizing some for a diesel engine right now, and it's actually quite a big process, so I won't interrupt him again because he's got to get that job done. But when we do the ARP bolts on these, we'll go over the whole process and show you guys what's involved in it, because yeah, it is a long process. But now I'll just do what Darren said and put this block in the hot wash, and then we'll measure up the bores, see what they look like. So here's a pro tip: if you need to pick your engine up, timing belt through the bore, and then another one to hang onto it. Look at that. Boom. Just like that. Alright, so we got the block in there. Does that actually spin around?
That spins when the lid's down here.
Oh, the lid won't hit it then, yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you. Got to give it a bit of a head start.
Alright, I've got to get some more parts, hang on. Alright, so the hot wash is going. You actually have to give it a bit of a wind up to get it cranking, then shut the lid and hit the go button. We couldn't fit the crank or the girdle or all the main studs, so they'll go in next time, but that hot wash will pretty much have to sit for maybe 2-3 hours, so I don't know if I can really do much else, but yeah, I don't really want to interrupt Darren too much. Like, he's going out of his way to help me as it is. It's pretty exciting I got this opportunity, not going to lie. So I think me and Jack are just going to chill out. Hey Jack. He said yeah. Well, what we will do now is just give you guys a bit of a rundown in what Darren does. He does a lot of RB work. He has for many years, but he's also doing a lot of diesel work right now, like heaps of I don't actually know the engines himself, but I'm guessing the Patrol series of engines and whatnot. But seriously, there's so much stuff on his website. He's always selling, he's actually selling a lot of parts at the moment, like special parts for diesel engines, RB engines. He does a lot of antique sort of old school restoration stuff as well. He's got a heap of V8s he's building, like, yeah, he's literally doing heaps of work at the moment, and his website's worth looking at because there's just so many random parts on there that are just in stock, ready to go, and yeah, if they're not, it's actually not too bad of a turnaround. So one thing I've always ran since day dot pretty much, yeah, it would have been, because it was on the car when I bought it, was the Lewis Engines RB sump, and I've still got it on the Zombie now to this day. So if you're still running the wet sump, he's got, yeah, his sumps online. He does a swap over, so you got to send your old one to him, and then he'll send you the new one with the custom trapdoors and the bigger sump, and it's honestly a complete lifesaver, that sump. I'll be getting another one now for the RB30. Yeah, there's obviously a heap of machines that he's got here that do all sorts of different things. Oh, we do have an update on the heads. As you can see here, these are all the heads I brought in. Squid. He's gone over them, he's stripped them all, and he's given me a bit of a rundown in what's good, what's not good, but he's pretty certain that all of them can be salvaged, which is freaking amazing. So yeah, we need a couple of springs, a couple of valves to get those all back and running. We'll have some spare heads for, yeah, builds that I want to do down the track, so that's awesome. We're going to put a hydraulic head on this RB30 as well. There'll be a spare Neo head there for me for the current engine that's in the Sombia. If anything was to happen, we've got backup. So it's more or less just making sure I've got enough parts, heads, engines, everything. So if I do have any issues, I can just bang a new one in, get the car going again, and then get to the next event. So it's pretty much my main focus right now, is making sure I've got enough things to just be able to just event after event after event. That's the goal. And obviously trying to do most of it myself, which will be good fun, I think, and awesome content for you guys, because as I'm learning, you guys are learning as well. So I know I said I wouldn't hassle Darren anymore, but we really need to show you guys this next thing. So in a nutshell, It's mostly common on the short snout. Well, you pretty much do it on every crank now, don't you? Every RB crank?
Yeah, all the ones with the small drive on them.
Yeah.
So on a...
So is it every RB30's got the small drive?
Every RB30's got that drive like that, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what drives the oil pump gears, those two flats.
Yep. Yep. And normally they're about to there on like a 33 or a 25 crank?
25 cranks have got this short.
Oh, they're short too?
As well, yeah. The only thing that's got the wide drive is the
33 GDR.
33 GDR, yeah, and 34.
Okay. So what Darren does is he actually machines down this end of the crank and puts on, have you got any?
Yeah,
oh, look, he's got a whole freaking bag here.
Yeah, so we machine the crank down in the crank grinder between centres.
Yep.
Machine it down, so you'll see it starts off there and goes down another couple of mil.
Oh, okay, yep.
And then that's the collar we fit. So the drive flanks are, instead of that width there, they got a full width.
That's a huge difference.
Pump gear.
Jesus. So just so you guys know, this is the RB30 crank that I have, and this is a crank that's already been machined up to fit the collar.
To fit the collar, yeah. So what happens here is this bore is within a couple of tenths of a thou.
Yep.
A lot of collars that are made are pretty ugly in the internal bore because that's got to go on at a 2 thou interference fit. So this is smaller than this by 2 thou. So we heat this up and it expands.
Okay.
And then we knock it on. So when it cools down, it grabs the shaft.
Yep.
So it's got to be 2 thou, minimum of 2 thou.
So it's not welded on or anything like that?
No. A lot of people used to weld them because there was a lot of collars made that the internal bore was really out of shape and you couldn't get any press fit on them at all. Then people would have them spinning and they'd grub screw it. I grub screw them as a precaution as well. I put one screw in it which goes into that area to stop it, just in case it's going to turn. The grub screw won't allow it to turn.
Yep.
But it's just precaution. Like you could press fit that on and it'll grip like a 2J Toyota with that sort of spline drive, and a lot of diesels have a removable collar on their crankshaft as they're made from the factory, and they fit them at about a 2.5 thou interference.
Yeah, right.
And they stay on, no grub screw, nothing. That's part of the crank once it's fitted correctly.
Wow.
And so yeah, that gets machined down, then that's heated up.
Yep.
Heated up to just a straw colour.
Yep.
So you don't want to get it blue or anything like that. So what I do is I drop a bit of oil on it. When I've got a mandrel that I use to knock it on when I'm heating it up, and I put a bit of oil on it. So as soon as the oil starts smoking, then it's hot enough, and the colour of that will just change, real slight brown, not that dark, sort of a strawy yellowy colour. You can just pick it. Then it's ready to knock on. So I stand the crank up and knock that on. So I get these flats in the same position as what Nissan have got them.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Bit of technical jargon, but you know, I mean, it's an oil drive, so you could really turn it around that way to still drive the pump. But
yeah.
Just to keep things nice, I put it in the same position.
Cool.
Yeah.
Easy as that, eh? But yeah, it is a bit of a. It's not as simple as just chucking on an extra drive and away you go. You got to actually do a machine work, and then you actually got to fit it on, and then obviously grub screw it. So it is a pretty. What would you say? Pretty long process, I guess, to get it done, and obviously there's a cost involved in that, but the cost is definitely worth it because you've got the extra drive for your oil pump, and then you're not going to have that any issues with the oil pump, lack of oil pressure and all that. So that's another thing that Darren really does on every engine, I'd say.
Pretty well every RB gets it that's got that small drive.
Yeah. So we're going to do it to the RB31 for sure. Yeah.
It's definitely worth doing it. Yeah.
Cool. So once we do that, I'll give you guys a price on all that. So once this engine is done, I'll do a full rundown of the whole cost of everything. Obviously, doing it yourself is going to be a lot cheaper when you come to build the engine, but we'll also put a cost in there if Darren was to do it all himself for you guys. So you got the full gist of it. And then we won't go into the finer details if you want to, put forged pistons in and then con rods and all that stuff, because then I'll be there all day explaining how much everything costs. If you guys are going down that path, just email Darren and give him a buzz, and he'll be more than happy to help you. But he's got packages all on his website that explains a hell of a lot of stuff, especially with all the heads he does. He's got different stages that you can just simply buy off him and do an exchange with your head. Or if you don't have a head, I think you still sell heads. Yeah.
Just source a core and then I can do a head for them while their head's on the car or whatever. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks for that, Darren. That's pretty cool. And yeah, all these other little RB information things that Darren thinks of while we're here working, he's gonna explain them to us. So it benefits obviously me and then you guys. So I don't know what we're gonna do next, but I'm sure we'll find something. So it's done a cycle of the hot wash now. Hell, look at it. Jesus.
Probably needs another 2 or 3 goes yet. See, it's still got that brown stuff on it.
It's
sort of cleaned some areas.
Yeah, so okay.
We'll turn it around but it's cleaned a lot of that crap out of the ringland, see?
Oh, wow.
Which you've got to get all that carbon out. So hot wash does it. Hopefully all of it. So we don't have to scrape it out.
Cool. Alright, so we're going to flip that?
Yeah, I reckon.
Alright. Alright, so we've got the bath on for another cycle. We've got the girdle in there. I managed to just fit it in there, but the crank is obviously still on the ground out here. Yeah, we'll do a few more cycles in there and hopefully it cleans all the carbon off it completely. Alright, the hot wash is done again. Woo! It's still spinning. You want some gloves?
Now I might put some more powder in there, I reckon.
Oh, okay.
Get it.
It's going to be orangey, eh?
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like that orange colour. It's bizarre, that fucking. It's usually like bare metal. See, that's metal. Look.
Yeah.
You want to get that shit off. So I reckon it might be the powder. The powder needs a bit of a juice up.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
But the carbon looks like it's coming off those pistons pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, fogging up here. So yeah, we'll just chuck some more powder in that. Give it another spin up. See what it looks like in about another hour.
It's a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely better. Doesn't have that orangey look to it.
Nah. It's getting there. Yeah, a lot better.
This camera's getting so much oil on it. But anyway, we've got, I just flipped the block up again so I can fit the crank in there. And there's a heap of bolts in there from the engine, so I'll let Darren start that one up. He's just outside with a customer checking out a SR20. I've chucked all the pistons in the Kero bath. I also put the girdle in there, so I've just wet it down, got rid of all that orange crap on it. Yeah, pretty much spotless. So the main thing we put them in there for was to get all that junk out of that oil ring there. Looks like there's still a lot of carbon in there, so I'm going to have to scratch that out. Unfortunately. But it's got to be done. Okay, so while the hot bath is going again, Darren just told me to clean up the grooves on the pistons where the rings are going to seal. Oh, sorry, where the rings sit. So just in the main oil one really, where those holes are drilled in. See there's little black marks. All I did, it's going to be hard to explain, but I got one of the old rings from the top section, broke it off, and you just use that to sort of just break away the little black pieces. Obviously don't scratch it or anything, but yeah, I've done that on all the pistons. You still see a faint shadow on some of them. But yeah, the actual big clumps of the stuff has been taken off, so yeah, it's pretty much all good. Oh, there's a bit of dirt in that one. I'll go over them all again, just make sure they're all good. Obviously don't use the broken end like I was just doing. Use the end that's actually been filed down properly. Yeah, scratch it. Yeah, so clean all that up. Then we'll measure the pistons. and we'll also measure the bore. I actually probably won't do that till it's clean. But yeah, we can measure the pistons, make sure they're all good so we can reuse them. If they are no good, we'll have to go forge pistons, and that'll be a bummer. Alright, all the pistons are clean. So Darren's just come over, he's measuring them up. So what's the rule of thumb here?
That's 384, so that's pretty well nowhere at all, no.
So how come you measure down the bottom?
Because that's the biggest part of the piston.
Yep.
So what it is here is smaller. So there is 2.5 thou smaller than here. Because what happens is the with the heat here, the piston will grow more here, and not so much here. So that's where you measure the size of the piston
To see if it's collapsed or...
to see if it's collapsed. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're getting within 3/10. So each piston, there's not even 3/10 of a thou difference between the pistons.
So that's
pretty well what you'll get on a new set of forged pistons. Not even so.
wow.
I mean, they could go in again.
That's good news.
Right over there. Sometimes they will get smaller if they get, like I said, detonation or something. They will get rattled and piston will collapse on the skirt.
Yep. Cool. So they're all looking really good. It's just going over them again just to double check. And the block's still in the hot bath. We've got to wait for that to get cleaned, and then we'll measure the bores on that and see how we're looking.
Not even a couple of tenths in that, so that's good.
Awesome. So we can reuse them all.
Ready to go.
Ripper. Alright, so I've packed all my stuff away. The pistons are in a box. The girdle's good. I just had to scrub that off with Scotch-Brite just to get all the orange stuff off. We're going to see what the engine's looking like in a sec. It's been in that hot bath 4 rounds now. Still got this orange powder on it, so I might be Scotch-Briting the whole block yet. We'll see. Here we go. Jesus. Is that just water?
Yeah, just hot water. It cleans the powder off it.
Yep.
When it goes dry, the powder goes all shitty. It makes the metal go like residue on.
Still got that weird, it's like a stain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit. You might have to just scrub that off when
Yeah.
you carry wash it final to assemble.
Yep. Lots of work for me to come. Darren's going to show me, or show us, how to get the auto spigot out. Oh yeah, just tack weld it on.
Yeah, just weld it in there.
I'll get out of your way here. Oh, and then you just slide hammer it out.
Yeah.
Simple. Oh yeah, so that there just works as a...
You can put a puller in there, but usually the pullers will always break.
Yep.
Give up on all the pullers. Snap-on's got a reusable one, but
Yeah.
still doesn't grip behind there good enough to get that thing out.
Yeah.
I've had them and broken them. I'm sick of it. Just go back to the old way of welding in there.
So now it's welded on. Just a quick tack weld. Boom. Simple.
Piece of crap. There you can, inside there you can just fit your normal manual spigot bush.
Yep.
Like
Straight in the
bronze
guts there.
spigot, and then you're back to manual now. It's like a stain. Comes off.
Oh, ripper. Alright,
Yeah.
well, I'll get busy on that.
See you later. See you in about 2 hours.
Alright, I'm going to wire wheel this thing. Look at that, eh? Bit of elbow grease. Crank looks brand new, I have to say. It is in really good nick. Big thanks to old mate who sold me this bottom end. Cheers, buddy. I can't remember your name, I'm sorry, but you said you watch these videos, so thank you. We'll probably call that a day. I'm late for me mate Benny's barbecue. Sorry, Benny. I'll be there in a minute, mate. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Awesome progress, I reckon. Big thanks to Darren again. We're obviously going to come back and do a lot more work. We've got, you know, we're going to do clearances. We're going to drill, tap, and then grub screw the crank. Get all this stuff out of in there. Heaps of work to do on bearings and all sorts. And yeah, measuring everything. We'll also balance the crank on this machine here, and heaps of stuff that we can still do. But yeah, hope you guys like part one. I suppose we can call it that. And yeah, this build's going to be pretty damn good, I think. I'm excited, but it's probably going to be spread out over a fair while because it's pretty long drive for me to get here, and I've got to spend pretty much a whole day to make it worthwhile. So we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks heaps for watching, and we'll be back soon. Peace out.